their hot and techy Brezza, the Citybird SUV.
How is that for a finish? Romario Shepherd has smashed Anrik Nokia for 32 off the last over. Mumbai have taken 84 in the last 4 to finish with 234 against Delhi Capitals in match number 20. On Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout. We have got one heck of a first innings to look back upon in the company of Tom Moody, Mitch McClenaghan and Deep Dasgupta. Anyone has any thoughts on that finish?
Well, the game changed on its head, didn't it? In the last, as you said, 4 overs, 84 runs. It was looking like a modest score, you'd have to say, given the conditions and given the history of that venue. Mumbai Indians got stuck in the middle phase of that game. I think between overs 7 and 15, I think they had a strike rate, a run rate, I should say, of 7 and over, which is really poor, to be quite frank. But the whole innings was rescued on the back of the last 4 overs. 84 runs, an extraordinary number of runs that has given them a well over par score.
For Romario Shepherd to come in and do that, they did impact him in one of those chases earlier in the season, but to come in and smash not just any bowler, but Nokia that way, that's just sensational.
Oh, I mean, a dream for him. It was finishing of the highest order, and to out-hit Tim David at the end, that's some feat. I think he was only striking at 214. Romario, that was class, and that's why they've bought him. They've bought him across other tournaments as well, because they see him as a hitting all-rounder who can bowl some death as well with the ball. So it was nice for him to get a performance like that on the board straight away. The one thing from a Delhi point of view, tactically, I believe their bowling changes to leave Nokia with 2 overs at the death to bowl the 18th and the 20th. When we spoke about pre-show how much he was struggling to finish the game, I think that was a big miss tactically from Delhi. Jai Richardson had bowled out early. Khalil had bowled out early. All the finishers are right-handers. Khalil would have been great at the end there to be able to go across, bowl those wide slow balls, at least do a different angle. But those two had already bowled out by the 16th over, which tactically from Delhi or Rishabh Pant was probably a massive miss.
Yeah, Nokia's overs, especially at the end, is something for us to consider a little later. In each game he's played so far, the last over he's bowled has gone for 20, if not more. But just to touch up on Romario Shepherd, Mumbai have been used to West Indian all-rounders coming and doing crazy things for them at the end of the innings. This would have felt very special for even Kieran Pollard in the dugout.
39 of 10?
Yeah.
That is unbelievable. We're talking about, like you rightly mentioned, Mitch, the other guy was going at 200, Tim David, and here he comes going at 390. Unbelievable. But having said that, that was a terrible bowling effort, wasn't it? I mean, you mentioned about, tactically, yes, but even otherwise, the problem, I guess, with DC is they rely heavily as far as pace bowling is concerned. Nokia, spin, Kuldeep's not playing. Nokia is looking extremely rusty. I think last 6-7 months he's played 1 game against Australia, 3 games of SAT 20, that's about it. So obviously, I mean, bowling seems to be a major concern. And when I look at that squad, I don't see too many options that they've got.
Yeah, and it's an interesting one, the bowling, because in the middle overs of this innings, Delhi pulled it back almost admirably. And you go through the numbers, there's so much to unpack in this innings. Mumbai off to a flyer, thanks to Rohit Sharma doing Rohit Sharma things in the power play. They got 75 in the first 6. The next 10 overs got only 75 runs, with 4 wickets falling down, and then the 84 at the finish, thanks to Shepherd and Tim David, getting them to 234 eventually. But Tom, let's start unpacking this phase by phase. The start from Rohit and Kishan. Rohit in particular.
Yeah, brilliant. Rohit was, as we expected, played with that freedom. He's carried on what he's been doing the last 6 months or so with the Indian team. He's playing fearless, a brand of cricket. He's such an attractive batter to watch when he's playing like that too. And, he's daunting for any bowler because he's got such a powerful front foot game that you then try to push him back and go short, it disappears over square leg or somewhere leg side for 6, and not just a 6, it goes a long way back. So they're very hard, batters to bowl to when, they decide that I'm actually just going to express myself today and take the game on. So great start, set the platform. Again, that middle phase is the phase that I would be highlighting and concerned about, and I think that's going to be completely covered over on the basis of what happened at the back end there, which was, you can't rely on that every day of the week, but that was an extraordinary finishing effort from Tim David and Romario Shepherd.
Yeah, and let's jump straight to that, because the middle overs began for Delhi with the big, what felt like a turning point at the time, with Akshar Patel getting Rohit Sharma out, the fourth ball after the power play. He also got Ishan Kishan. Suryakumar Yadav falls for a duck. Hardik Pandya comes out with a score 81 for 2 and 7.3 to finish about 10 overs later with 39 of 33. As Tom points out, has he almost been rescued by just the heroics of the finish there?
Yeah, I think he probably has been. Look, if they had fallen short of 200, then I think it would probably be a bigger conversation. But you're right, they've rescued him from that position. It didn't look like he was playing poor shots. He was playing strong cricket shots, and he was just hitting the field a little bit more than you probably would have liked. I think when we were looking down there with the wickets in hand and the power that they had in hand, 4 or 5 overs out from that final phase, you probably would have liked to seen a little bit more intent, lifting it up over the offside. He got a few balls that were in his arc. He just didn't pull the trigger like we're used to seeing Hardik Pandya of years gone by do. But there were some good signs, some positive signs. It looked like he was striking the ball well. But whether it's a confidence thing to go a little bit earlier might be the case. But now you've seen Romario Shepherd do that. I can't see any reason why in future games that you'd be looking at going at 120.
I've got a slightly different take to this. So, okay, when he walks out to bat, and then Tim David comes in the 13th over, and that's where, obviously, I mean, forget the finish that they got. But if I look at that partnership, the partnership was 200 strike rate. Right? At times, I guess, I mean, how I look at it is, yes, when you look at his innings, as in Hardik's innings, in isolation, it would be kind of slow. But when I look at it in from a partnership point of view, they had a role, very defined role, and I think that seemed all right, because obviously you never knew how the innings going to finish, how Tim David's going to finish it, or Romario Shepherd's going to finish it. Maybe just the idea was to take it deeper and then see how it goes. So yeah, I'm just going to look at that middle phase from a few things: follow-up wickets, 4 quick wickets, Tim David coming in the 13th over, and if you look at that partnership, that still was around 200 strike rate, that partnership.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, right? I know what you're saying around that, but I also think there'll be a game where they'll come up against a side that will bowl really good death. They'll be able to finish the game with the ball, and then if you've taken that time during the middle when you do have wickets in hand and you get behind what is probably getting towards a par total, then you're probably going to lose the game in that phase. I think today, combination of some fantastic hitting and some very poor death bowling kind of made it look like it was the right decision to go at that pace.
So now, if what was the par total that you were looking at?
Yeah, I think I said 185.
185, right?
For the day game.
So they were, 124 for 4, roughly around the 13 over mark, right?
Yeah.
So if you batted in that,
so historically 185 at Wankhede in a day game is your par total.
Yeah.
But I think now with those are the numbers that we get given. But I think now with the impact sub, it's probably 15 to 20 above. So if you're looking at that side with that lineup that Mumbai's got, 200 is probably a par. So at that point, they would have needed to still kick on at the death to probably get to that 200, which they exceeded that, didn't they? But you'd expect someone from like Hardik's quality standpoint to go big in that phase as well.
I think there's two things at play here. Firstly is you need to look at it, if Delhi win this game, that middle phase is going to be highlighted in very, very bold ink that is our issue. This is where we lost our game. Both teams bowled poorly. Mumbai are going to have to bowl poorly to lose this game.
Yeah.
Both teams have bowled poorly. This is where we've lost the game, middle phase. So we can't ignore that. The other thing is is that what we talked a little bit about yesterday with yesterday's game in Jaipur, in that the game has evolved. You can't sit on your bat handle and go at a runner ball or a strike rate of 120, regardless of wickets falling around you, on a very good surface on a ground that's renowned for, particularly the back 10 overs, being a high-scoring game. You need to be able to trust your instincts and trust your game to be able to accelerate through. So that's my only, the way I look at it. The two different points is that if Delhi win this game, it'll be a hell of a game if they do. You know, that is going to be a complete standout issue with why Mumbai have lost this game.
And we speak so much of resource utilization in this format, which was one of the conversations from the RCB game as well. You've still finished this innings without Mohammad Nabi coming out to bat. You had Romario Shepherd at 9, so then how do you look at those 30 balls?
Mumbai, who's lost all their games, Hardik under pressure as a captain, new captain and whatever's happening off the field. I mean, I guess there are a few more variables involved than just the usual ones that we see. I think psychologically it was a big game for Hardik. It's a big game for MI to win from here on, because if they don't, then things can get really, really bad for Mumbai and Hardik personally as well. So I don't know. I mean, I completely understand.
Probably been a little bit hypercritical.
And when I look at that batting order, you've got Piyush Chawla coming at 9. So I do take your point, what you're saying. I mean, someone like Piyush Chawla is... Coetzee can bat. He's number 10. So I completely get what you're saying. Yeah.
It does set us up quite nicely. If you think 235 is not gettable, but we've seen crazy things happen in the IPL this season, and perhaps at the end of this game is where we'll be able to get a wider lens on just how that first innings played out, including Delhi's bowling effort in the middle overs. Right, what do we think? Might I congratulate the two of you for landing your outrageous predictions already. 40 plus of 20 balls from Rohit Sharma, said Mitch, and Surya Kumar Yadav to be out within 12 balls. He bet
3 balls.
2 balls is what it
took.
2
balls. The second ball.
Yeah. And Rohit did not score 70. So, no points yet.
So close.
We'll give it another go.
He looked good.
He was on for 100, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Just as Delhi are set to begin their chase, how do we expect this to play out?
I'll be surprised if Mumbai lose this, but who's to say Delhi can't chase this down? They've got some armoury there that can do it. Mumbai's bowling is a little bit vulnerable, but it's going to take a couple of very special knocks, and it's not going to be not going to be 100. It's going to be 3 players striking, at 220 plus.
Mohammad Nabi didn't get to bat, but you expect more of a role for him with the ball, considering the number of left-handers in this Delhi batting lineup?
Yeah, I thought he might have looked at taking the new ball. They've opened up with Coetzee, who hasn't bowled in the power play. He's bowled 1 over in the power play the whole competition. So, again, it just shows that Mumbai's searching for how this bowling unit's going to work together. And, it's going to be interesting to see how they do introduce Nabi, because with Shepherd coming up ahead of him, it looks like he's more of a bowling option.
Give us a call. How do you see this ending?
I mean, obviously, like Tom mentioned, it's going to be... I don't see MI losing this. If they lose, it'll take quite a few things to happen. Good batting, terrible bowling. A lot of things have to coincide for Mumbai to lose this. And also the fact that once you score something like 234 as a bowling unit, I mean, you're on a high, your tail's up and you're running in harder. There's a different level of confidence in that dressing room. So, yeah, I guess DC would do well to get anywhere close to that, I think.
Right. Sets us up for what promises to be a great innings to follow. Be sure to follow it on the ESPN Cricinfo mobile app. Download it if you haven't already. And we will be back here whenever this innings ends. We'll be looking ahead to the second game of Sunday as well, which is Lucknow versus Gujarat. Can Gujarat get back to winning ways? And there'll be so much to unpack from this game at the Wankhede. Before we leave you, Kumar Kushagra, he has come out to the field. He is Delhi's impact player, already came on to field. It's a special story. He's 7.2 crore signing at the auction. A little more on him as we leave you for now. Be sure to join us after the game on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricinfo Timeout.
उस दिन तो हमारा प्रैक्टिस था रणजी ट्रॉफी टीम का, तो मैं सर को बोला, सर आज थोड़ा जल्दी छुट्टी दे दो मेरे को, मैं खाना घुसेगा नहीं मेरे को। तो बोला कि ठीक है कोई दिक्कत नहीं, आज तुम चल जा। फिर मैं लंच करने गया वहाँ पे, लंच किया, फिर बोला भैया थोड़ा कम भूख लग रहा है आज, थोड़ा थोड़ा खाना कम खाऊंगा। बोला ठीक है चल जा। फिर रूम गया, तो मेरा अनकैप्ड प्लेस में उतना लेट नाम नहीं था, मेरा एक्चुअली 333 प्लेस में 55th नंबर पे नाम था, तो बहुत जल्दी था। तो मेरे को लग रहा था कि अब आ जाएगा। मैं 1 बजे से अपना फोन में, हम लोग बोले तो रूम आ जाऊंगा देखने, बोले कोई नहीं आएगा रूम, हमको अकेले देखना है। अपना फोन निकाले, उसमें ऑन किए, तो बोले 1 बज रहा है, 2-3 बजे तक आ जाएगा। 1 बज गया, 2 बज गया, 3 बज गया, 4 बज गया। मेरे को खाना भी नहीं खाया, भूख लग रहा है, क्या करूँ क्या करूँ। नहीं अब तो छोड़ना नहीं, अब तो आने ही वाला है। जैसे ही मेरा नाम आया, 54 आया, फिर अचानक से ब्रेक हो गया, और मेरा एकदम लगा कि यार कब आएगा। फिर नेक्स्ट नाम जैसे ही मैंने देखा तो मेरा नाम आया, तो मेरे को लगा कोई उठा क्यों नहीं रहा है भाई। फिर धक धक कहने लगा, कोई उठा लो। फिर जैसे ही अचानक से CSK ने उठाया फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, फिर सेकंड GT ने उठाया, तो फिर वो बैटिंग चलने लगा। बट मुझे लग रहा था कि दोनों का ट्रायल तो अच्छा गया है, दोनों ही उठा रहे हैं। फिर 65 लाख तक उन्होंने छोड़ा, चलो ठीक है भाई, बढ़िया है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। अपना इस बार खेलना है, सीखना है बड़े प्लेयर से, कैसा होता है माहौल वहाँ का, इतना बड़े क्राउड में खेलने का। फिर जैसे जैसे वो बढ़ने लगा, DC आ गया, DC अपना बैटिंग बढ़ाने लगा। लग रहा था रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बढ़ रहा है, पैसा नहीं बढ़ रहा, रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बढ़ रहा है। तो फिर मतलब अचानक से ना 65 लाख तक जब मेरा बढ़ा, इतने सारे कॉल्स आने लगे, मतलब मेरे को लगता है कि 10-15 कॉल। मैंने इसे कट 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 करते गया, ऐसे कट किया, फिर तो वीडियो पॉज हो जाता है, वीडियो से ऑन किया, देखा 7.2 करोड़। हम ऐसे फोन पकड़े, फिर ऐसे छोड़ दिए, ऐसे देखे, अब रूम पे घंटी बजा रहा है, घंटी बजा, सब रूम में घुस गए। हम बोले 2 मिनट दे दो, मम्मी से बात करना है मेरे को, फिर जो करना है कर लेना। मम्मी से बात की है, फिर बहुत हम दोनों मतलब रो रहे थे, और मम्मी की बहुत ही मेहनत की है इस टाइम के लिए, बहुत ही 1-2 साल नहीं, बहुत बचपन से लगा हुआ है, तो कोई चांस भी नहीं छोड़ना है इसको। तो
All new hot and techy brezza, the